Hello trader, this is a complete multi-time frame analysis on euro dollar, British pound, US dollar and gold. We can see that we are almost at the end of the week, and also there is a monthly close nearing, so we can expect in three of this instrument increased volatility, as also this is weekend on Friday. So let's see what kind of trading opportunity we can find in those instruments, beginning with euro dollar. First of all, to see overall picture in this market, and then we'll be looking at GBPUSD and gold. So make sure guys you stick till the end. Before I begin, make sure also you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So beginning with, first of all, monthly chart to see overall direction in this market. So we can see that euro dollar, this is the current monthly price action. There was a massive bounce in the beginning of the month, and with this gap open, the price had a huge bounce, reached that monthly resistance line where there is a high liquidity. And after this liquidity grab, we can see that euro dollar before the monthly close, so we can see now there is a deeper pullback in this market, and we can expect for this price potentially drop further to the downside to create a new lower low. Now dropping down to the weekly to see how the market is evolving, we can see that from the weekly perspective there was a previous weekly bearish engulfer, and this weekly bearish engulfer, we can see the prices crossed this high, back to back two weekly highs, and then we saw there was a strong rejection from the top with this red candle. Now this current weekly candle, we saw bulls try to break this high but failed to do so. We can see that there was a rejection from the top, and there is a huge imbalance here. It's a full imbalance in the market with a bigger fair value gap. So we could see slowly the market may try to fill that fair value gap to create a new lower low. Now dropping down to the daily chart to see how the market is evolving, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily price action. From here, this is a daily impulse followed by daily doji, another bullish candle, and then doji formation. The market in the daily, we saw there was a sideways movement followed by a very strong daily drop, and we saw previous day the market has bounced back to the upside to that resistance line. And today's price action, after this liquidity grab, the market started to break below, and we could see the price ultimately coming back here to that support level to create a new lower low. Now looking at the intraday perspective from 4 hour time frame, we can see that there is a channel here. This channel, it's a bearish channel on euro dollar, and we have seen the market try to bounce from that level. Instead, we saw fail to create a higher high. We saw a series of lower high formation. A previous session, this 4 hour candle is bearish engulfer with also strong liquidity trigger at the top of this resistance, giving a high probability for euro dollar to potentially drop here. And we may see that the market continue to drop to 40 to 50 pip or even break below further, as this channel we have seen break to the upside, returning back to the downside, and we could see that potential downtrend continuation to this level or even breaking further before the weekly close, and we may see return from that level or further downside to potentially fill that full imbalance in this market. So therefore we will be looking for selling opportunity as soon as we will find suitable entry opportunity on euro dollar. Now let's look at British pound US dollar to see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this market. Looking at the monthly chart on GBPUSD, we can see that from the monthly, like the euro dollar, we saw this month also there was a gap open, and after this gap open, the market has made its move to the upside with a stronger momentum in this market from the monthly. And we can see that currently before the monthly close, the price trying to drop again for a deeper pullback. If we look at the weekly perspective here, we can see that after this weekly doji formation this week, from this resistance line, the market slowly breaking below here, and we could see that potentially weekly close like as a doji or a bearish candle. And after that, the market may continue to drop here, as we can see there's an imbalance like the euro dollar, and we could see that GBPUSD as well. There's a news coming up later today. We can expect increased volatility on British pound US dollar. Now looking at the daily chart here on GBPUSD, we can see that this is the daily price action, which we see that a very strong bullish engulfer, but at the same time as this daily candle, was a huge movement to the upside. We can see the more than 180-year movement on this daily price action. It also grabbed liquidity from the top, therefore the sellers could try to sell again in that zone. And if we look at the intraday perspective, we can see the market in that zone. There's a sideways movement, there's a long wick here, the long wick here, and also the market is forming series of lower high in this market. As soon as we will find suitable entry opportunity after the liquidity gap, we will be selling GBPUSD with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at XAUUSD. Let's see this instrument. We saw there was a huge trend in this market. Let's look at the monthly chart to see what the market is doing. Now we have seen quite a few analysis in this market. This is in fact a very strongly bull market. We have seen that impulse correction, impulse deeper correction. The market is in another impulsive phase, and we are almost at the end of the month, and we can expect this market to potentially continue to create a new higher high. Now if we look at the weekly chart here, we are almost end of the week. Previous weekly candle, there is a long wick at the top, and from this support level we can see the market now having a bounce, and this is the weekly price action so far, maintaining a strong bullish market structure. We can expect for the after initial pullback for the market to continue to rise before the weekly close, as we may see that a trend continuation in this market. Now dropping down to the daily, previous daily candle, as we can see, maintaining series of higher low from this ascending triangle that we discussed in our quite a few analysis. Previous daily candle was a strong bullish engulfer candle, closed above this high. Now as a result, today we saw the market initially drop to that daily low, and the price again trying to break above. So therefore the long-term bullish trend continuation is high probability. Now looking at the 4-hour chart, previous session a doji formation. Currently the market has created an important support here, and from the 4-hour perspective, expecting for the price to drop here, grab the liquidity, and then potentially to trend again to create a new higher high in this market. Now looking at the 1-hour chart here, we can see that there was a very strong trend here. On the 1-hour chart we can see this bullish uptrending market structure, a move pullback, another move pullback. The market is forming series of higher high and higher low. Now after 2 sessions of drop, this session formed this long wick candle. Again, this is the zone that we can look for potential bullish entry if the market managed to break below again, which we could see potentially an opportunity to go long for this potential move to the upside. We will be looking for the lower time frame price action for potential bullish opportunity. If we see the market as getting a rejection from this level in this long-term bull market, we will be looking for going long with a high probability trade setup. Traders, if you enjoyed this education and analysis, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Thank you, and I'll see you soon in my next analysis.